Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. Welcome back to another Unranked Challenger video. In this one, we're going to be focusing primarily on how to play Evelynn effectively in the late game. I've seen a lot of decent Evelynn players build up leads in the early and mid game, but they throw it all the way in the late game, so hopefully this video will help you out. I will be showing a couple of good plays from the mid game to give you an overall feel, and I'll also be showing you some mistakes I made. If you want to be able to carry late game, it's important you build up a lead in the early and mid game. I'm not going to go into too many details on this, however, the best way to do it is hit level 6 as fast as possible and not prioritize ganking, but instead prioritizing proper jungle clear routes. Once you are level 6, you want to gank every single time your ultimate is up or is about to be up. Come up behind the enemies, get down a charm, and then just watch the gold come in. It's not easy to be that patient. If your teammates are constantly pinging and asking for a gank, go ahead and look at it. If you don't think there's a 95% chance you'll get a kill out of it, don't bother going because you'll be putting off your level 6 for too long. A big mistake to avoid in the mid and late game is going into the enemy's jungle whenever your ultimate is down. Here I saw Riven pincing me. I didn't know where 𝐒𝐿𝐿 was, therefore I should have just ran out on my left side instead of going deeper into their jungle. If my ultimate had been up, not only would I have gotten the kill, but I would have easily escaped over the Baron pit. Another massive mistake you need to avoid is in the mid and late game, don't chase down your charmed target if there's someone in front of you and if your ultimate's down. In this case, I ran past the 𝐒𝐿𝐿 to get to the Malzahar while my ultimate was down, putting me in a horrible pincered position. In this next clip, there's multiple lessons to take away. Number one, you want to typically come up behind the enemies. That way they'll run into you as your teammates move towards them, or they'll eventually step back and you can kill them. The second lesson to take from this is enemies don't realize how strong Evelynn's health regen is after they do a lot of your HP and you just sneak off and run around behind them. I made a huge mistake here. I hesitated because I was nervous when in reality I could have followed her along the wall much closer and been able to kill her, getting away probably without even having to use my ultimate. As long as a wall or obstacle is between you and the enemy, they can't see you until they completely get around it. My hesitation caused me to not cross the wall at the same time she was, which allowed her a longer time to see me and react, thus snaring me. If you know you're in the correct position to get a kill and get out, go ahead and do it. Don't hesitate or you're going to end up getting yourself killed. Two keys to Evelynn: patience and not hesitating when you are in the correct position. It's almost like taking a sniper shot. When you have the shot, you take it. You don't wait. If you don't have the experience on Evelynn, it can be difficult to realize when you do have the shot, and that's what the practice is for. In this situation, my ultimate is down. Two of my teammates got picked and the enemies are shoving down my mid turret, so there's absolutely nothing I can do. So I just sneak off to the side and take a dragon. If there was no dragon up, I might have gone and farmed the enemy's monster camps or maybe pushed a side wave. It's best not to show yourself in a side wave though, because if you do, the enemies will be more bold and maybe start a Baron or keep shoving down a turret. In the mid and late game, the person you're most often going to pick is the enemy support because they'll be out warding by themselves or breaking a stray pink ward, so do your best to recognize when they are going after a ward, run up behind them, drop the charm, and kill them. In this case, since Zyra was so far out of position, even though she flashed, I knew I could still get the kill by dropping my ward and triggering the charm. I really want to save my ultimate so I can get another pick and stop this game from ending. I was daydreaming here. I even saw 𝐒𝐿𝐿 coming from a distance with a ward. I didn't get out in time. I end up having to blow my ult to get away. I charm him and I end up going back in thinking we'd be able to kill him, but Ezreal just does no damage. This was a really bad mistake on my part and it could have been avoided if I was just looking at the minimap. In the late game, especially on Evelynn, your eyes need to be glued to the minimap, looking for every single movement from the enemy team, figuring out who's walking in which direction and who you can pick off. In this case, Zyra chased us down and didn't respect my health regen. The mid game is where Evelynn shines the hardest because that is when enemies are still going off on their own and making dumb decisions. Technically right now we are in the mid game, but don't worry, I'll be showing you some juicy late game plays on Evelynn and things you need to look for. In this case, 𝐒𝐿𝐿 just felt like he had a big dick. He comes into our jungle, gets himself killed. I set up the charm, we ambush him. I do end up using my ult because I wanted to secure the kill to get more stacks, and I also didn't want to risk dying. Look closely on the minimap here. Caitlyn is low on HP, yet she's not backing. Instead, she's going for a golem camp, so this is a perfect opportunity for me to set up a kill on her. Not by running all the way to the golems and getting there while she's recalling. I won't get there in time, but instead, killing her while she's trying to regroup with her team. Her teammates are forcing down mid. She should be recalling about now, so I want to make my way around the enemies and get to her. You need to be staring intently at your screen to see any pink wards or enemies and make your way around them. 𝐒𝐿𝐿, I have to quickly path around him as closely as I can, and then I start running down mid. I lay ward behind me to see if anyone's going to try to pincer, and now I have Caitlyn all to myself. I wait for her. She runs right into me. I toss out the Q and the E and she dies. Most people won't react fast enough. Even if she did start to react, I still would have killed her just because of how fed I am. The enemies are now in a pincered position. I come in. I still have my ultimate. We set up an amazing fight. and they're screwed. The enemies would have needed to guard Caitlyn on her way back, which is a very rare thing to see. Don't go anywhere yet. We're starting to get into the true late game, and we have some really good stalking action up ahead. Whenever you are stalking a target, it's important that you tab and see what items they have. If they have something like a Moss, Derek's Gauge, or a Phantom Dancer, you need to consider how much damage you can actually do, since those items soak so much damage. In this case, Caitlyn didn't get a Hex Drinker or a Phantom Dancer. She has no lifeline item, therefore I can kill her without even having to blow my ultimate. So right now I'm just stalking through the mid lane, waiting for an enemy to make a misstep or misplay. Here I would have gone for Zyra, but she's still too close to the Malzahar and Caitlyn. I'm waiting for her to step off and waiting for the enemies to step away just for a second or second and a half so I can weasel my way in. I'm following Caitlyn closely. If my team pushes up against them, I'll kill her instantly, or if she just stops for a moment to type, I'll kill her as well. The enemies are pushing up really far, which is great for me since I'm pincering them. I'm keeping a close eye on the minimap. I see Riven's off to my right, so I don't want to try to go in there and wait in a bush because she'll likely be there and I'll die. Instead, I'm going to try to slam the enemies up against our turret. That's a really good spot to push them up against. They'll have nowhere to run to. Instead, they decide to engage on my team in the jungle. Whenever the enemies are standing by walls, you need to be careful of how you move. The enemies do a full engage. I can see them. I go in, land the charm, and ulti. Watch who I charm and when to help me to weasel my way in there. I want to go for Caitlyn since she's their main damage dealer. However, if I throw the charm on Caitlyn, they'll all instantly try to guard her. Instead, I put it on Zyra whenever she's really far up there to the right, so they think I'm coming behind Zyra above them. Instead, I'm below them. I'm going to drop the Q and then go in with my E, and since Zyra is by Caitlyn, she's going to get charmed as well, taking heaps of damage. I'm going to drop the ult and get a solo double kill in a team fight. Very huge. Taking Relentless Hunter and building Lichbane allows you to chase down most opponents at the end of team fights since you are much faster than them. In this case, Malzahar's left straggling. I get down the charm, TF ults in, and it's just really simple to take him out. All we need is 1 CC and he dies. No fuss, no muss. After you win a team fight, you want to look to try to get turrets and inhibitors. Map pressure and killing turrets is huge on Evelynn, since turrets can see you and cut off a lot of your options for sneaking up on enemies and stalking. If you are far ahead enough, you don't need your ultimate to stalk. I avoid the Riven, move around her, and of course, a squishy walks up and I kill her instantly. Since we're walking into each other at the same time, by the time she sees me, it's too late, she is already dead. In this upcoming clip, I stalk for over 1 minute and 10 seconds. I'm waiting in their base for Zyra to spawn in to kill her, and I'm also waiting for Caitlyn to maybe step back to kill minions or Malzahar. Unfortunately, when Zyra spawned in, Riven came back for the super minion, so I couldn't really do anything. There's currently no objective to take or anything of that nature, so spending my time stalking is actually a really effective way of helping us to get picks and end this game. I make a massive mistake though, and I run past a pink ward towards the enemies. This massive mistake not only gives away my position, but forced me to use my ultimate to get away, and in the end, I do still end up dying. In that situation, when your teammates either get caught or they force a fight, if you can't get to the enemies effectively because of a pink ward, your best option is to stay where you are and shove that wave in to help give your team pressure, so even if they do lose that fight, you'll have something to go off of. In the late game, you can take a pick on Evelynn and you can build it into many more. The easiest way to do this is play around an objective. In this case, we pick a Mumu, so I have my team start on the Baron. Meanwhile, I'm going to wait in a bush and kill an enemy. I have a close eye on what's happening on the minimap. I'm in the bush, drop the charm, wait for him to get close, smite to throw off his shield, EQ, and we kill Malzahar. TF does get picked. I'm going to sit off to the side and heal. We still have a man advantage fighting 4 versus 3. I want to get in a bush and sneak up on them. If you pay attention, Zyra has her sweeper lens on, so I can't get too close or I'll give away my position. Instead, I'm going to wait for it to end. Zach gets off a great pick. I go and finish off the Zyra. We end up leaving Baron, but we get their bot side turret and inhibitor, which will allow me to path more freely, and we can always come back to Baron later if we so choose, and I can kill them as they try to stop us. In fact, I had my team back to give the enemies a false sense of security. I lay a ward near the wall to give myself more vision, and now I am looking for a pick. All it takes is for one of them to step off to the side. I throw a charm down on Malzahar to see their movements. And do keep in mind your charm does give away your position once it fully pops, so I move away from that position just in case they move backwards and try to find me. So instead I'm hovering here right now. I was going to go in the bush and kill Riven, but she moves away. Now I'm going to go back to stalking them as a group. I'm pretty sure they have a pink in the bush over there, so instead I'm going to wait out in the open behind them, trying to avoid pink wards. We don't quite get in on them because they start to run, but Ezreal lands a great ultimate. Amumu goes in, I ult out, chunking down the Zyra. The enemies proceed to start chasing, we finish off the Riven, and that is how we end up mopping the game. Even though this particular flank that I pulled didn't have the best results, it made it difficult for the enemies to engage on my team, try to stop the Baron, or really do much of anything since they didn't know where I was, and if they did fully engage on my team, it would have put me in a perfect spot to kill them. Similar to the fight where they all in my team in the jungle. And that is going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out a lot. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.